The impact of racism, injustices, horrible things, it's not something you can get over. And it's not something that has to directly occur to you to have an impact on you. Because generationally, you pass on trauma, but also life lessons that come out of it. I think about some of the discussions I've had with my brother. My brother is African American male, and he's raising a son. And he talks about the conversations he has to have with his son because he understands the world in which he's raising his son. Now, our family is quite diverse. And so I can remember sitting down having a conversation with other members of the family saying, I ache. I ache for the fact that you have to have that conversation. Not only because you're African American, but because you're my family. Because I love you and I know you're an amazing person. Therefore, how dare anybody see the color of your skin and automatically decide that you deserve to be treated with anything other than respect? So no, it's not just the victim that's feeling it, but it's also those who understand that wrong is wrong and that a righteous life does not accept wrong as okay just because it's not happening to me. And that's when change occurs. When we stop only caring about what's happening to us and look at what's occurring and realize that it's not good enough for anybody. Therefore, it's time to stop so that we can then come together and stop being angry with each other and stop being afraid of each other, but work together hand in hand in making life better. Because this next generation, they deserve so much more. They deserve so much better, and it's on us to give it to them. There was a time growing up when my grandmother especially said, be careful who you hang with, because the decisions they make will impact your life, and it can impact it for forever. You know, that isn't necessarily the whole story anymore. I can make all the right decisions and still, simply because of the color of my skin, certain resources are not offered to me. Certain opportunities may not come my way. I may be thought of as less than and not given the chance to show what's possible, what I'm capable of accomplishing. And that's not okay. You know, my heart aches, especially for the African American boy, because before he even begins, there's a list of labels that are attached to him that are going to decide his future. And he doesn't get a vote on the label. He didn't shop for the label. He didn't even choose the wrong friends to get handed the label. He just was who he was born to be. And that's not okay. And that's the type of thing we have to join together to fix. Because sometimes we look at the response and we say, oh, why are they behaving that way? Well, no, that's a reaction. What they're faced with is the actual initial action. And we need to see it as such and deal with that part of the story so that the entire paradigm can shift. There's always an interesting perception around those of privilege. And a common question, why don't they get it? Why don't they just understand and realize their impact and their benefit from the current system? I want to be honest. Why don't they get it? Because they don't get it. I know that sounds really simple, but there are some experiences that you simply cannot wrap your mind around. You cannot wrap your mind around getting up, wanting to have a bowl of cereal, going into the kitchen, and not being able to simply make it. Like, that doesn't seem possible. Well, okay, if you don't want cereal, then just grab something else. Make something else. What if there is nothing else? The reality is there are those who have never had that experience. They cannot understand the concept that every cupboard is bare, that the refrigerator only has a box of baking soda and a bottle of ketchup. That's it. And we have 4 more days before that reality changes. So instead of asking, why don't they get it? We need to spend some time on building a relationship to have more exposure. And as hokey as it seems, there needs to be some reality experiences, not like what we see on television, but real exposure to reality. Let me give you 48 hours of no choice, 48 hours of no resources, 48 hours of being only responses because you are a victim to the life circumstance, at least in your mind you are. Then I promise you'll get it and you'll do things a lot differently.